Thank you, host. Good morning, everyone. Before we start, allow me to thank World Digital for the invitation to moderate this panel session on the topic, Keeping Up with E-Commerce Boom, Logistic Market Amid Pandemic. I'm Sharon here, your moderator for this session. A short introduction about myself. I'm a serial entrepreneur backed by 22 years experience in the IT industry, from retail chain, corporate services and solutions, and also e-commerce. And I'm also a certified trainer, providing training and solution and also consulting to brick and mortar businesses on the digital transformation. So enough about myself. I'm sure you're not here to listen to me, but our panelists. All right, let's amp up the vibe with a short introduction by both our panelists. Let's start with Ryan, and then we'll follow by Firas. Over to you, Ryan.
Thank you, Sharon. Yeah, hello everyone. Yeah, good morning. Ryan Wei here from GudangAda. As a firm, we are the largest and the fastest growing B2B FMCG e-commerce platform in Indonesia. And it's really setting out to kind of empower all the players across the FMCG industry and the supply chain, from manufacturer and the brands to wholesalers and all the way down to retailers. And the core offering is starting from a marketplace and also other services, and then help people transact. And I myself, coming from an investment background, and also kind of growing up and working and living in different countries until settling down to Indonesia and then embarking on this journey with the GudangAda. Yeah. Thank you.
Over to you, Firas.
Thanks, Sharon. Hi, everyone. Good morning. My name is Firas. I'm Chief Strategy Officer at NinjaVan. So a bit about NinjaVan. I think NinjaVan is a last mile service provider focused on servicing e-commerce merchants. We're across the 6 Southeast Asian markets, right? Probably with leading coverage across all 6 countries, right? Yeah.
So let's come back to the topic. You know, as we know, this pandemic has actually speed up the digital transformation journey tremendously. I mean, not only in Southeast Asia, we can see happening in globally. Always we have been hearing about this word pandemic. You know, when we hear about pandemic, it's always negative. And then the impact that caused by pandemic we have seen everywhere. So let's change a little bit of our anger, okay? And looking at the positive side of the crisis, there's always a saying, never let a good crisis go to waste. So let's talk about what has the pandemic brought upon the positivity side in your business. Why don't we start from Firas first?
Yeah, Sharon, I mean, it's no secret that merchants are fast adapting e-commerce as a sales channel, right? The pandemic has kind of driven that quick transition to digitization. I think everybody is well aware. I think with that, the logistics sector has been fortunate enough to kind of grow together with this move towards e-commerce, right? So apart from just trying to scale up and service all of these merchants coming on board e-commerce, right? I think some of the things that we're trying to look at is how we can continue to innovate, our solutions, right? Come up with new and improved service offering, right? To help these merchants in these pandemic times, right? Yeah.
Awesome. What about yourself, Ryan?
Right, to us, in fact, we actually see as what also is commonly known as a catalyst for tech adoption. And then that's also what we set out to do, to kind of digitize the traditional conventional way of transacting in the FMCG trade. So as a B2B player for us, the net impact actually to us is actually positive on kind of threefold. Definitely overall general e-commerce as a sector, there's a sector tailwind. We, of course, being one of the beneficiaries to it. And also the merchant that we serve now also seeing this heightened awareness and then the increased appreciation of digital adoption, right? Of going cashless and moving things online, whether it be kind of traffic restrictions or lockdowns, or the reduced traffic into their stores. And last bit, I guess, also unique to us is all the category and the products we carry. That's all daily essential consumer goods. So across the board, we're seeing really this resilience and also a boost in demand, whether it's sanitation, cleaning products, or cooking ingredients now, everyone cooking at home, and also government playing an active role ensuring that supply chain availability, which all play to our benefit. So across the board to us, despite all the kind of tragedies happening outside, COVID to us net is a boost And our business has been able to grow for that consistently every single month so far this year.
I see. To add on to that, Ryan, do you have any aggressive or any very good case study on your B2B reseller or your wholesaler that gets on board to you? Do you have any good story to share with us? Probably you can share one or two with us.
Sure. I think for us today, generally across the board, we serve from the principals to wholesaler to the retailers across the supply chain. Wholesaler and retailers are more of our core today, the core merchants. So we've also been kind of active in doing kind of customer care, and then with our kind of feet on the street, as we call it, our BD agents across the country. We are over 500 cities by now. So and actively kind of visiting our customers and giving them kind of free masks, protective gears, ensuring that also they can sustain their business throughout this crisis. So a lot of that kind of outreach and offline marketing we're doing, and also some corporate social responsibility we are helping as well, giving out kind of free meal kits and helping the more underprivileged communities. So I think that's kind of active outreach during this crisis, maybe when they need support the most. I think that also helps us to really fasten that adoption and merchant sign up.
I see. What about Firas? The biggest challenge, during this pandemic, everyone is trying to speed up the process. So there are challenges everywhere. So what are the biggest challenges that you encountered during this pandemic with the hike of, reseller, retailer, merchants, onboarding process, and also number of parcels which has been increasing day by day? So is there any big challenges that you and your team facing, and how you overcome this?
Yeah. I think the big challenges, the obvious ones would be trying to scale up operationally as quickly as possible, right? And then adapting our operations to with all the safety measures as a result of this pandemic, right? From contactless deliveries to kind of revising our operations within our warehouse to be more adherent to safe measures, right? But I think the more interesting the problems to solve actually arise on the merchant front, right? I think with the pandemic and a quick move to digitization, I think a lot of operations now takes place online, right? So the innovation and the solutions that we've been trying to introduce try to tackle the merchants' pain points, right? So as an example, I think in Singapore, we have launched a new Ninja Chat service, right? And the Ninja Chat service aims to kind of provide a immediacy of response, whether through an AI tool or quick access to your account manager, right? So this helps the merchant gets quick access to information and a better understanding of what's happening in their operations. I'll give you another example, right? I think in Indonesia and in Philippines, what we have rolled out there is a cash flow solution called COD Advance, right? So about 90% of deliveries in these two markets that we perform are cash on delivery services, right? So now the cash on delivery issue is that a merchant only receives cash when a delivery has been completed, right? So what we have been doing to help these merchants in these two markets to solve their cash flow issues, especially in these troubling times, is to advance this cash to the merchants before delivery is completed, just as a quick cash flow bridge, right? So some examples of how we're trying to solve pain points on the merchants front.
Oh, that's very good, Dean. During this period of time, reseller always been challenged by cash flow. This is very good invention, to help the reseller to overcome this period of time. And for Ryan, like the B2B, because we always hear a lot about B2C. B2B is a very challenging part because introducing merchants, I should say brand owners, all the way from brand owners to wholesale to retailer, and until the product to the hand of the end user. So what was the adoption? How was the speed of the adoption by all these brand owner or reseller or wholesaler? You mind to share?
Mm-hmm. I think definitely one key, the key to really kind of winning the B2B game is definitely starting with relationship and trust, right? Because again, it's B2B selling end of the day. It wouldn't be just kind of cash subsidy and then some incentive letting the consumer for a trial sign up. So starting with that relationship trust with in most cases the business owners, and also giving them a truly kind of empowerment model, right? So it's not just some cash savings and here and there, but then truly having that empowerment service and offerings which translates to tangible value creation. And then only then, over time, that becomes a sustainable business. And people give you more trust, a bigger wallet share, and then converting more of their business over to your platform after the initial sign up. Right? That to us is really where the journey starts. So that's our general approach to doing that. And also to your point, tech adoption is certainly key to us. Still in this industry now, that's still a long way away. So our goal is really to be in one of the kind of front runners, helping to empower the whole supply chain. And then offering these omni-channel services from online digital to also offline distribution and logistics, and also more and more merchant services to help them really digitize their traditional business in a new way, and also giving this one-stop solution to them.
Yeah, a saying by, the bigger the company is, the bigger the brand is, the longer the time it takes to get them on board. I mean, like, during this period of time, is there any speed up process or any case study within few days you manage to get a brand owner to go on board with you or a wholesaler? How fast was the time? Like 2-3 days? Because we have a very good case study here in Malaysia. A brand owner, very big one, can actually go with them, a B2B platform player, in 3 days. Mm-hmm. So what was the speed in Indonesia for your platform, GudangAda?
Right. For us, I mean, again, we segment our kind of customer groups. The brand owners are maybe more like the whale sitting on top of the supply chain, the upstream ones. So then we have kind of in-person visits and meetings, and then our team from sales, BD to partnership, having a meeting with them with the legal documentation process. And then so that's everything can be done within a matter of days. That's bringing the online, bringing the upstream brands. And then the wholesaler and the retailer group, really that's our core. For us, it's only company by now. We just celebrated our 2-year anniversary, and then but today we are definitely in the range of 200,000 to 300,000 merchants and more, and that number is fast growing. So each day there can be hundreds, if not thousands, of sign up on that wholesaler and the retailer group, offline merchants, initiated by our offline BD team, and also with our proper KYC, KYB process, digitized and done online.
Awesome, that's a very good number, And the next, we have a question from the audience to address to Firas. What has NinjaVan offered to fulfill the surge of consumer demands, and how has the change of NinjaVan business plan for the earlier this year? Firas, over to you.
Yeah, thanks, Sharon. Yeah, that's a good question. I think we have not really changed the business plan. Right, I think we're seeing a much faster growth rate. That's true. So, kind of scaling up operations, keeping up with consumer demand, right? Tackling issues that are faced by merchants is extremely key. Right, I think a lot of work on our end as we scale up is to ensure that the entire experience for both consumer and merchant improves. Right, as I shared earlier, a lot of these innovation we were trying to solve for addresses merchant pain points in the pandemic rather than our own operational pain points. Right, because on our end it's just about scaling up, increasing capacity, but the merchants who are adapting to a whole new operating model are the ones that kind of need more value-added services, more support, whether it's through cash flow solutions that I talked about, or the immediacy of communication that we have addressed through Ninja Chat.
I see. Like, I understand that NinjaVan is actually operating in 6 countries. Correct me if I'm wrong. Mm-hmm. Like, can you take us through across all these 6 countries? Which country did you find it the toughest to deal with on logistic part, and there's any specific reason why?
I think every country presents its own set of challenges, right? So, for example, in Indonesia, geographically, it's the largest country, right? On top of being the largest country, it is a country with thousands of islands. Right. So just for us to reach full coverage, right, which was a very proud achievement that we kind of had close to 3 years ago, right? That was 1.5 years of expansion, right, painful expansion and growth, right? So geographical coverage is one thing that we really pride ourselves on, right? And being able to kind of cover the entire Southeast Asia region, right, where if you need a delivery performed to anywhere in Southeast Asia, a Ninja can do that for you. Right? I think that's something that we pride ourselves on. It's a coverage game at the end of the day, right? And with coverage, right, we're seeing our scale and our volumes, right, kind of grow as well, right? And merchants now can kind of just use Ninja, right, to deliver anywhere in Southeast Asia, which we think is a great solution to have.
Ryan, I think because you are actually located in Indonesia and the business is actually fully being implemented in Indonesia, and I guess talking about this geographical issue, how do your team and how do yourself attend to it? Like so many islands, such a huge country. So how do your team adapt to this?
Sure. So us, I think from day one since scaling, one is, to the point of B2B sales, right? So that's human touch. So we do have a large sales team across the country and then covering hundreds of cities. And then, so for them, again, the merchant onboarding process, so we start with the BD, virtual visit, and then communicating the tangible benefits and value for us, then through a digital onboarding process. And then, again, really B2B game, sign up is only day one. And then from there on, it's about adoption, usage. And then we kind of track that engagement metrics until over time, we can really kind of convert more of their offline business to online with us over time. And then, but again, that process is replicated across the country with our large kind of BD team, strong in the field, and then covering 500 cities and plus today.
So looking at the time, I think I'm going to address this question, the last question to both of you. What do you think would be the next level of advancement in your field that will help to boost up the e-commerce in even the future? So probably Firas, would you like to pick up first?
Yeah, actually, when Ryan was talking about B2B, I'm actually a big fan of what you're doing with GudangAda. I think on the e-commerce merchant front, I think we see the same challenges on B2B, right? I think what e-commerce has done for merchants now is to give you a quick access to consumer kind of anywhere in the country, and as a sales channel that has been transformational, right? I think B2B challenges continue to remain. Right, so supply chain issues, right, upstream of a merchant to supplier, origin of goods typically still from big manufacturing hubs like China, Vietnam, moving across Southeast Asia. I think these are supply chain issues that will have to be addressed, right, to further advance e-commerce on a whole, right? And we are seeing more requests for this, right? And on our end, we're also exploring, and we have launched different solutions to help merchants procure, make payment, right, and ship goods cross-border from supplier to merchant. So yeah, generally, I think B2B, exactly where Ryan and team are operating in, is kind of the next stage of advancement.
What about you, Ryan? Since Firas has been mentioned that you are on the right track, what do you think about the advancement that you should think to be improved?
Sure, yeah. Well, thanks for the kind words. Definitely for us, being one of the players in the increasingly crowded markets, definitely there's a slow rising tide. Tech adoption overall, the way that people get more digitized, and to us also, when internally for us, really kind of offering that one-stop solution by launching with a host of services to merchants and across the supply chain, different segments of the whole chain. And for us, going forward, definitely continue to scale our current operation. That's one, organically. At the same time, strengthen our different offerings, really in an omni-channel way, online e-commerce platform and more offline touch points, and also launching a lot of new business initiatives, and then really rounding out the service offering, the service mix. And then to us, the key is really growth through partnerships with different ecosystem players that we're very happy to kind of partner with, very open to that. And also internally, I think upgrading our technology constantly, and then renewing our new app and launching new version, and also adding new product and different features and functions to it, from payment and more. So, and then last bit also kind of category expansion is to us. FMCG is where we started, but then there's different adjacent categories we can tap into, and then we are already on that journey. And then from houseware to a few more. Yeah.
I think according to what Ryan said, nevertheless, the cash, the payment will be the last one that work very closely with the e-commerce ecosystem. And then we're down to our last few minutes. So we, Is there any way that we can grab a fast, sweet, and short, smart closing note from both of our panelists to our audience, be it they are merchants, they are resellers, or they are just end users? So is there any closing note from both of you to our audience?
No. Firas, or
yeah,
go first?
Firas, do you want to go first?
Sure. Yeah, I think these are really transformational times, right? I think the wave of digitization is not a new one, but it has accelerated tremendously, right? I think this is the new normal, merchants selling online, right? And as a company, we're very, very committed to continue to look at how we can deliver more value to these merchants, right? And we welcome feedback of our services, right, on our new service offerings from merchants everywhere. We believe that innovation starts everywhere, and we try and talk to our merchants to really understand pain points. And if we have feedback along the way, we would take it into account, right? And hopefully, as a company, this spirit of innovation and new services kind of never dies, and we keep it going quite strong.
What about Ryan?
Right. Yeah, I think for us at GudangAda, definitely we're on the mission to really empower the whole supply chain, every single player, but not really undercut any. At the same time, we're really launching this omni-channel services to help everyone, essentially. So to us, we're in a kind of actively and fast-growing mode, and we love partnerships. So any of the ecosystem players in any way, different verticals, we would love to talk. Yeah, do feel free to get in touch, and then let's explore synergies and way to work together.
So it's very interesting. Closing from Firas and also Ryan. So from Ryan's side, you're looking at omni-channel services and also collaboration on partnership, no matter what brand, as long as you're in Indonesia. Are you looking at any way out of Indonesia as well? Any brands?
For me, for us, it's not in the near future.
Right.
Yeah, definitely.
Right.
Yes.
And then
yeah.
From Firas' part, you'll be your team. I bet your team will be continuously developing new innovation and also creation to get more value for your merchants and also to bring more advancement to the e-commerce ecosystem. So looking at the time, in fact, I wanted to close this session, but we still have a little bit of time. I see a very interesting question here from our audience. Will we see an IPO scenario for both GudangAda and Syuen? Can you have a fast one, because we only have 2 minutes left. We still have some time. Firas, sorry.
Yeah, I mean, that's, we don't really discuss our exit options so much. Everything is on the table, I suppose, right? I think all outcomes will be considered down the line, but slightly above my pay grade to talk about it. So I'll kind of pass it on to Ryan.
Ryan.
Yeah, for us, I mean, definitely focus is kind of focus company building for this stage. But we do have plans to kind of raise a large investment round next year, Series B. And so, yeah, if similarly anyone interested in having the conversation there, we'd love to talk early. Yeah.
Okay. In that case, I wrap up the session. I would like to thank both our panelists, Ryan and also Firas, for your insightful sharing. To all the audience, thanks for tuning in. And stay safe, everyone. And back to you, host.
Thanks, Sharon.
Sure. Thank you, Sharon, everyone.
Thank you.